As much as I don't like to leave projects half finished, resource shortages resulted in the inn not being completed. It's time to fix that. I now have the resources to actually finish up the inn, and I'm going to finish it. I'm going to start the finishing process by decorating the lobby area with some planter boxes and some seats. And once the planters and the seats are in position, it's time to build the support beams for the second floor, where the guests will sleep. And from there, it's time to build up the walls. Much the same way as I'd built the walls up to this point. And yes, there's also a little matter of me sorting out the flowers and the planters. And now it's time to actually start work on the second floor. That is, once I get the front walls sorted out with the inn. I'm going a little bit fancy with the window over the door, just for visual effect, really. And now that I have the walls built up to the second floor, I still have to get the interior support beams sorted out. And as you can see, I'm placing floor beams in order to A, mark where the rooms will be, and B, provide a measure of support for this second floor. And now the other thing I'm doing here is replacing the tops of the windows with cobblestone so that I can make the floor 2 blocks thick. This is done so that I can basically have a subfloor, and critically, that the ceiling of the lobby doesn't look exactly like this floor. I don't think it would have looked very good if it had looked like that, so I felt the change was appropriate. Of course, there is quite a bit of subfloor to work on. This is not a small building. But with the exterior of the subfloor sorted out, I'm now building the interior. The trickiest part of this was getting under the support beams that I had already placed. But with the subfloor complete, I'm now laying down the actual floor of wood parquet so that I can actually build the bedrooms. I'm also laying the baseboard for the walls. And now that the floors are finished, I'm building up the back walls. And yes, I've come to accept that I did make a couple mistakes. First off, I'm building strict sideways beams at the top. This is, after all, the top of the livable area of the inn. The other mistake I made was to not leave room for windows. And of course, there's a third mistake in that the window of the room on the right looks out directly into that cliff, which is not desirable. Now I'm placing down the beds and the stone lanterns. And yes, I did have to fight off a zombie that made its way inside the inn. And now that I've got the rooms initially furnished, it's time to sort out the walls and the ceiling of the rooms. and of course the roof. And yes, I did have to fight off a zombie there. There's the doors for the guest rooms. And now I'm in the process of building up the walls here. As well as a couple of additional horizontal support beams for the roof. And now I'm getting to the front wall. And yes, at a few points I did have to go back to the storehouse for materials. Again, I can only hold so much stuff on me at one time. But now we have 6 rooms walled in. This is number 7 and 8. And with that, the walls are complete. And I'm now laying down the ceiling, though I did leave myself an access route so I could get up above the ceiling to work on the roof. And now for the tricky challenge of actually building the roof. I've opted to go 2 blocks out with the overhang on the roof rather than just 1. And the reason for that is because given the size of this building, a 2-block overhang really made a lot more sense visually than a 1-block overhang would have. But there's me building up a scaffolding for temporary access in the hopes that it would make it easier for me to lay out that overhang. It didn't help as much as I would have liked, but it did its job. So there's the 2 overhangs. And now what I'm doing is I'm actually going to recess the edges of the roof in 1 block just to give my roof a bit more definition. And then of course with some stone stairs at the bottom. Yeah. And now it's time to use wood for the rest of the roof. And there are, of course, the edges of the roof. And I'm leaving a block open again so that I have access to the top of the roof. And as I build up the rest of the edge walls, I'm building up a little bit of a staircase. And again, this is temporary access. It will be filled in later. And again, I did have to go back to the storehouse for some more resources. Again, while I had the resources I needed to finish this off, albeit barely, I did have to go to the storehouse several times over the course of this build to actually collect them. So here's 5 layers of the wooden stairs. And layer number 6. And yes, I did leave a gap in the roof again so that I could get onto the roof. And now I've got cobblestone slabs for the topper. As nice as this end looks, I still feel like the interior is lacking a few special touches, if you will. For one thing, I still have a couple of torches on the floor, which I don't like. But those aren't too difficult to fix, I don't think. Let me go ahead and see what I can sort out there. So I'm going to go ahead and use some fences for the supports on the ceiling. Yeah, let's see here. How many of these will I need? There we go. That's too many. That's way too many. So, let's go ahead and put the light support piece there. And we should be good to go on that front. That allows me to eliminate that torch. See how that looks real quick. Not bad. Not bad. And now I'm going to follow suit over here. Alright, let's see. That's there. And the light block goes there. And voila. So that takes care of this lobby area. Lobby, of course, will also serve double duty as a place of respite for the town. And now we'll make our way upstairs because there's a few things we need to sort out in the guest rooms. But first off, I somehow managed to leave this window wide open. Let's fix that. Interesting. Minor visual glitch. And then as far as the guest rooms, got a desk, chair, and chest that I want to put in. I'm going to go ahead and put the desk on the same side as the nightstand. And then the chest goes on the same side as the bed. That's 2 rooms. 3 rooms. Alright, this is number 4. Simple chair. And on an unrelated note, I do feel sorry for whoever gets this room because they basically get a dirt view room. It's just a function of the terrain, unfortunately. Not really all that much I can do about that. At the moment, really, my best hope is to get the rest of these accessories placed down. And don't worry, this is the last bit of everything. Once I get these down, the inn is finished and ready for tourism, whatever tourists we get. And there we go. So now let's make our way over to the town project board. The old one, not the new one. Oh, and an extra note on the crossbreeding of the crops. At this point, I only have soybeans and bell peppers yet to crossbreed. The rice, beans, and spice leaves and the onions have all been moved over here. Whichever one of those gets done first will likely replace this field of wheat. This field of wheat will likely be replaced by the other of the crops yet to be crossbred. But at any rate, let's eat up and make our way back to the project board. And the inn is done. And at this point, there's not much left. We are very close to having the 8+ food crops. Once either of those gets to a 10-10-10, I'll have that. As far as using all the fields for food crops, again, once one of those gets to 10-10-10, I will plant it, and we'll have that. And then there's just the river, the watermill, and I've got a location in mind, though it will likely require a partial dismantling of the project board. And then, of course, I still have to dismantle the project board itself. But we're quite close to being done with the iron stage. And to moving on to the next stage of Industriville technology.